as you know, we are talking about four strands, and these four strands have already been discussed when we talked about, the principles of language curriculum design. So, as you know, we have already talked about, input and output as two strands of language learning. Now we're going to talk about language-focused learning and fluency development, right? We're going to see what's their practical implication for designing a specific language course, right? When we are talking about, language-focused learning, so the main focus will be on teaching the features of the language. I mean, by features of the language, I mean how we're going to teach, the first conditional, how we're going to teach past participle. What are their linguistic features? The main focus will be on teaching, teaching the linguistic features, right? Language-focused learning, when we talk about teaching language features, so it could be about teaching pronunciation, how to pronounce the words appropriately. And it could be about, training our learners to learn the art of spelling if they are struggling with the spelling problems, and how different words are joined together, or prefixes and suffixes, right? And how we can develop their vocabulary level, right? And collocations, how some words are linked with others, right? And the use of grammatical structures. So this is how, language-focused learning actually mainly focuses on teaching the features of the linguistic features of language. I mean, in sophisticated terms, I mean, the science of language in itself, right? So while teaching these language features, we need to ensure that we spend, our time efficiently. We give, sort of each, we give equal emphasis to all these features while we are teaching about language-focused learning, right? Now we're gonna see the effects of language-focused learning, right? So language-focused learning could prepare our learners to consciously become aware of the knowledge that they are internalizing. I mean, the knowledge of the language that they are internalizing. And we can also train our learners to how to notice the features of the language and acquire them later. So overall, language-focused learning should be an important part of a language course. This means that when we are deciding to give, importance to the four strands, so we shouldn't be giving too much emphasis to input or output. Rather, we should try to strike a balance between these four strands. Okay, now let's talk about the fourth strand of language learning. Fluency development, how we can help our students to become fluent while they are speaking, and what are the issues involved in fluency-based, language teaching, right? Fluency, as you could see here, deals with what students already know. It's not, like introducing something new to them, and because the reason is, if we introduce something new to our students, that might hamper their speed, that might hamper or affect their fluency level. So the fluency development could better be developed with the use of a technique which is about, channelizing what the students already know, and just to giving them practice or bringing in some repetition exercises in the classroom. All right. So when we are talking about the fluency development, we need to ensure that we are giving, motivating them in 4 strands. For example, we're going to train them in speaking, and we're going to train them in listening and reading and writing. So make sure that these, while we are, focusing on fluency development, 4 skills, I mean, both receptive and productive skills are considered, right? Time constraint is an important feature when we are, talking about these 4 strands. So by time element, I mean to say, like, you might remember when we discussed time on task as one of the principles of format and presentation. So we should ensure that enough and equal time is given to these 4 strands. I mean, one of the strands is not discussed at the cost of the other strand. So there are different techniques which we can use to bring in the classroom and to manage the time element. I mean, we need to ensure that we give sufficient time to the to each of each strand, or I mean, input, output, and meaning focused language learning and fluency development.